Alright, welcome back to Shroud Stories. No idea what episode we're on, but this is Tech Tips with Uncle Kolty. We are going to be talking about surfing some heavy water stuff today. There's a bit of swell coming in. Looks like it's going from around 3.5 feet at, 13 seconds or so to 6.9 feet at 16 seconds, I believe, which when it hits the coastline around here, it should be decent sized waves, that's for sure. I'm going to be riding a 6'7" round pin thruster. It is a hard edge surfboard. So if you are familiar with the Black Beauty or any of those boards from Almeric, it's going to be a very similar design. You know how there's always edge back here by your fins? Basically what they do is they take it and run it all the way up from the tip of the board to the tail. But yeah, this has been Old Faithful for me for the last, I want to say 6 or 7 years now. It's a heavier, denser blank. There's a deck patch laminate in here, so this is extra fiberglass with colored resin in it. Underneath, more resin and fiberglass. So it's a really dense, heavy surfboard. Paddles really well when it's offshore, and it catches waves really easily. But yeah, we're gonna go over what happens to you when you're surfing big waves, how to time paddle out, how to manage sets that are coming in that are bigger than others, how to stay out of the way of people when they're dropping in or surfing as well, when to paddle to the whitewash, when to paddle to the shoulder, things like that. Stay tuned. We're gonna go take some beatings on the head and hopefully get some fun waves in between, but see you in a little bit. Well, that was a fun day. Some heavy water surfing. Now, the waves weren't crazy big or anything, you know. It was only a little bit overhead. It was very windy, but kind of gives you an example of, you know, what to do in heavy water, I guess, you know. And that could be anywhere from 35 feet, whatever, 40 feet to 10 feet. I don't know. Like, it kind of depends on your skill level. Heavy water, I guess. You know, there's days down at Salt Creek where it's only head high, and that's gnarly for some people. And it's not to say that it's not gnarly. I'm not trying to knock it and be like, oh, I'm some big dog, this and that, you know, none of that. Like, heavy water is just gnarly surf that you can get injured in, you know, if you're surfing around rocks and there's a lot of current, or there's lots of different examples we can use. Anyway, first things first, you show up to a beach, the waves are big, the waves are scary, whatever. Somewhere you haven't been before, maybe it's somewhere you go all the time, but it's different, it's bigger, and there's current and there's people and blah blah blah. Sit there and look at it. Sit there for, I don't even care, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it may be. Just sit there and watch it for a second. Watch people try to paddle out, watch them get rejected, watch them where they go, how long they wait, how hard they paddle. You know, if they get swept down the beach, watch where they paddle out and see if they go way down the beach that way or way down the beach the other way, and think about where you want to surf and envision yourself paddling out. Maybe 15 minutes would be better, 20 minutes would be better to see if there's any bigger sets that come through. A lot of the times, longer period swells, it takes a long time for sets to come through. So there'll be a bunch of smaller ones. You'll be like, oh, that's easy, you know? And then all of a sudden, a big one comes through, a smoker, it cleans the whole lineup up. So be aware of that and watch for it so you know what you're getting yourself into. And then, I guess, when you're paddling out, a funny quote that we all like to use is from Finding Nemo, if you've ever seen that. And it's Dory, and she's like, don't stop swimming, don't stop swimming. And she just like keeps going, you know? Same thing, don't stop paddling. Whatever it may be, if there's a set coming at you, just keep paddling. Even if it's a little bit and you're super tired, just keep the flow going, you know? You never want to stop, because that's when you end up getting stuck in positions where you don't make it out, you get sucked way down the beach, whatever it may be. Then next, when you're in the lineup, maybe don't go straight to the peak. I mean, let's say they're barreling, you know, and you go straight to the peak and a big cleanup set comes through and cleans up the whole lineup. You're like, okay, well, none of those guys were far enough out. So now you know when you go and start making your way into the lineup the correct way, that you're going to want to sit a little bit further out or further towards the shoulder or something to get your feelers on it. And also, when you're getting into the lineup, don't paddle super deep right away. It's probably a good idea too. Take off on some shoulders, get the feel for it for a little bit, and kind of, you know, get your groove in, get your feet in the wax, I like to call it, and you know, start slow, take it easy. You're dangerous to yourself, but then you're also dangerous to the guy that has to come save you. Like I saw it the other day, it was maybe head high, and some kid was freaking out because he lost his leash, or he broke his leash and lost his board, and he couldn't swim, and he was scared or something, but he was freaking out, somebody to come help him. But then someone has to go in and put themselves in a dangerous situation to help someone else out that made a poor decision by using a bad leash or a bad leash string or taking off on a wave they shouldn't. Whatever it may be. So there's that. Just be careful. Maybe not life and death, but you can get really hurt in the ocean. And it's a dangerous place to be, for sure. It's really good to ride bigger boards, too. Let's say it's 10 feet. You're like, okay, I could ride a 6'1", my 5'9", my normal size shortboard or something, you know? Paddle out and you're underboarded. It's really hard to catch waves. It's really hard to paddle out. It's not that easy to, like, get glide and move around when there's a lot of water moving. Now, something that I listen to is an interview from Derek Ho back in the day, I guess. He was talking to Mason. Mason's like, he's like, what board should I ride? And Derek's like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to sit there and run away from the sets? Or do you want to hunt those things down like a lion chasing a gazelle? You know, do you want to be able to move around and be able to get to places faster than other people? You know, you set yourself up for success, you'll probably succeed. Bigger boards are usually better. Now, people that have a lot of experience might argue that, like Jojo Roper, for example. I was surfing in Mexico, almost said where, but surfing in Mexico somewhere, and he was riding, I'm riding a 7.9, a lot of guys out there on 9.0s, 10.0s, whatever, giant big wave boards, and he's out there on this little tiny thing getting more barreled than anybody else. And I asked him, I'm like, you know, what size is that? He said 6'7", and I thought that was crazy. Like, it's big and like really, really heavy. And he said he rode a smaller board because you take off deeper and later, so you're guaranteed to get in the barrel. Then once you're in the barrel, you can actually move around your surfboard and wiggle it a little bit rather than just going straight and hoping that you have the right line. So there's two different theories to it. You need to be an experienced surfer, obviously, to put yourself in those situations. So I always recommend for somebody new starting out, ride a bigger board. It's just going to be more fun. It's going to be easier and all that. Now, next thing, we're out in the water, we're in the lineup, we're catching waves, whatever. You're going to get smoked. At some point, you're going to get lit up by a big wave. You're going to have to hold your breath. And that brings me into my next point, is being extremely calm. I've been in situations where I'm going over the falls in the worst possible place that I could be, or paddling back out in the worst possible place that I could be. Instantly your mind wants to go to like freak out mode and like fight or flight, I guess. Start panicking, and that panic uses a lot of oxygen and energy. So you're gonna deplete yourself of all of those things that you need for when you're actually underwater. One thing that I like to do is, play with your heartbeat a little bit, in the sense of like taking a really deep breath and a really slow exhale. Like really slow breathing when you're out of breath and freaking out a little bit. You slow down your breath, it'll slow down your heart rate too. So a huge thing for big water surfing is being extremely calm and methodical too. Like I was saying, starting from the beginning, sit there and watch it for a little bit, 20 minutes. Watch some sets come through, watch guys try to paddle out, look for rip currents, try to time it right. Stand on the sand when you are actually about to paddle out and wait for a set. It's a really good point, actually. I probably should have brought up earlier. Stand on the sand with your toes in the water, let's say. Watch a set come through, and when the last wave of the set breaks, that's typically when I like to jump in the water. I don't like to wait until it's completely flat, because you need that time when it's actually completely flat to be in the impact zone and make it through, and you need a little bit of time to get there first. So if you start paddling at the last wave of the set, you're going to take those little whitewashes on the inside like it's nothing, like it's a normal day, and then once you get into the part that's scary, there's going to be no more waves coming for a long time, so you'll have a lot of time to make it out. So yeah, stand on the beach, watch for 20 minutes, time it correctly, watch people get flogged and learn from their mistakes, hopefully. Ultimately, stay calm in the water, be methodical, take your time. It's not a rush, it's not a race. Just be smart. Don't put yourself in a stupid position. Be smart, have fun, go get some bigger waves, maybe grab yourself a bigger sled, and thanks for tuning in to Shroud Stories. Also, check out IPD, maybe grab a wetsuit, keep you a little warmer here in California. It's getting pretty chilly. Got an ice cream headache the other morning. It was not fun, but anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning back in. Like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Go get yourself a Timmy Patterson surfboard, and I'll check you out next week.